Okay, so you guys sent in some wild news excerpts
Yeah.
about how the White House is reacting to this whole signal chat thing.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it is a mess.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to try to do today in this deep dive is cut through all the noise and like really understand what happened right after that journalist got accidentally included in a chat about a possible attack in Yemen.
Yeah. I mean, this is more than just a slip up, right?
Okay.
This is like a peek behind the curtain
Totally.
at how much pressure and what the priorities are
Yeah.
in these really high stakes national security situations.
Yeah. So basically the gist is that some top Trump officials were using Signal to talk about a potential attack in Yemen.
Right.
But the crazy thing is,
Yeah.
the Atlantic's editor-in-chief,
Whoa.
Jeffrey Goldberg,
Yeah.
accidentally ended up in the chat.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine, like, seeing that notification when you're not supposed to be part of that conversation at all?
That just shows how even when you're using encrypted apps and you think you're being informal, there are still huge vulnerabilities.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
Especially when you're dealing with super sensitive information.
Totally.
And it could even mean that they were bypassing like official protocols.
Exactly. And the sources we got point to just like immediate furor in the White House.
Right.
I mean, this wasn't just like a whoopsie.
No.
This was like...
This is national security.
National security breach.
Yeah.
Huge, huge stakes.
Absolutely.
So it's really interesting because some people outside the White House were calling for someone to be held accountable for leaking those Yemen attack details.
Mm-hmm.
But internally, they immediately focused on Mike Waltz, the national security advisor.
Interesting. So they shifted the focus away from the leak itself onto like the aftermath of it.
Exactly. They were blaming Waltz for accidentally adding Goldberg to the chat.
Oh.
And his explanation.
Yeah.
Apparently didn't really convince anyone.
It didn't really cut it.
No, it did not. So the immediate crisis like totally shifted from the potential leak to this accidental exposure.
Right. And that makes you wonder, how do administrations actually decide which security failures are more important?
That's a really good point.
Like, is it more about preventing the leak in the first place, or is it more about managing the fallout when something gets accidentally exposed?
Totally.
And it seems like, in this case, the White House was more concerned with the second part.
Absolutely. And then it gets even more intense because apparently on Wednesday,
oh boy,
there was a meeting in the Oval Office.
Really?
With Trump Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, and Vice President J.D. Vance.
Okay.
And the whole point of the meeting was to talk about possibly getting rid of Waltz.
Oh, wow.
Some were even saying he should be shown the door.
So they were seriously considering removing him.
They were really worried. I mean, that's like the top level of concern.
For sure. It shows you just how seriously they took this whole thing and how they felt about Waltz's response.
Yeah.
But it's obviously not a simple decision.
Oh, no, because there's also like a lot of internal division.
Right.
Like people were angry and they felt like Waltz had lost their trust.
Understandably.
But at the same time, they were worried that firing him because of outside pressure would make Trump look weak.
That's a tough spot.
Yeah, so there's this whole like internal struggle going on.
Yeah, you can see how all these different factors are at play.
Absolutely.
You've got internal accountability, political optics,
right,
and then the need to appear strong and in control.
Exactly.
It's never straightforward at that level.
Not at all. And get this.
What?
Even after that Wednesday meeting 5 days later, Waltz was still in his position. But our sources say that some officials were waiting for the right time to let him go.
Oh, so it's not over. It's over.
They're just biding their time.
Yeah, and they were even saying it could happen within a couple weeks.
Like a ticking time bomb.
It is.
That's interesting that they're waiting for the right time, though.
Right.
I mean, that suggests that they're trying to be strategic.
Totally.
They want to minimize any bad press and control how the story is told.
Exactly.
When they do eventually make a change.
Yeah, and then on Friday, Vice President Vance went public and said that the administration was standing behind their whole national security team and that they were resisting those outside calls to fire anyone.
It's a classic move.
Total power move.
Projecting strength and unity to the public.
Absolutely.
But Politico's report is kind of telling a different story.
Really?
Yeah, they're saying that Waltz's standing in the White House has really taken a hit.
Interesting.
And that a lot of people internally feel like he messed up his response.
Oh, wow.
So there's this disconnect between the message they're putting out publicly
and what's actually going on behind closed doors.
So basically what we're seeing here is a national security mess that was started by just one digital communication mistake.
Right.
And it's caused a ton of internal drama and uncertainty about what's going to happen to a key advisor.
Yeah, even though they're trying to act like everything's fine.
Exactly. It's crazy to see how much pressure there is at that level of government.
Absolutely.
And it really makes you think about how hard it is to keep things secure and keep that trust when everything's happening so fast online.
It's a whole new world.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with national security secrets.
Totally.
So think about this. In this age of instant communication, where people are using apps like Signal instead of official channels, how can you possibly make sure that operations stay secure and that people still trust each other when the information they're sharing could have huge consequences for national security?
It's a tough question.
It is. It's a big balancing act.
Yeah, it really is.
For sure.
Well, thanks for breaking it down.
Of course, anytime.
Really appreciate it.
No problem.
We'll see you guys on the next deep dive.
See you later.